The fella in the blue jacket banging his hands together is Jack, and the guys in the red shirts are his giant killers. In reality, Jack is Chuck Fairbanks, head coach of the red shirts, the New England Patriots, who in reality are giant killers. The schedule makers penciled New England in against 4 pro football titans to start 1976. 4 teams that won an astounding 43 of 56 regular season games in 1975. The New England schedule began with the Baltimore Colts, who were 10-4 in 1975 and champions of the AFC East. Though they lost 27-13, the Patriots discovered that they had a gritty, determined quarterback in second-year pro Steve Grogan, number 14 from Kansas State. When week 2 rolled around and in came the Dolphins, also winners of 10 games last year, Steve Grogan gave the no-name defense a bad name. Grogan passed for 3 touchdowns and rumbled in once himself as the Giant Killers had their first victim by a 30-14 score. The Super Bowl champion Steelers were certain to squash the upstart Patriots the next week. But with Grogan passing for 257 yards, again 2 touchdowns, and again running one in, the Patriots slew themselves another giant, this time by a 30-27 score. Last week, John Madden and the Raiders, AFC West Division champs in '75, became New England's 3rd straight victim. Who would have believed that the New England Patriots, 3-11 in 1975, would open the new season by winning 3 of 4 against Baltimore, Miami, Pittsburgh, and Oakland? One fearless second-year quarterback probably would have guaranteed it. The Patriots got an almost immediate break when Raider running back Clarence Davis fumbled on Oakland's second play from scrimmage. Steve King recovered on the Raider 43, and Sam Cunningham, number 39, began his best day as a pro with a 24-yard run up the middle. For Cunningham, it was the beginning of a 125-yard total offense first half, as determined running by Sam the Bam Grogan and number 32 A.J. Johnson kept the Raiders back on their heels all day. Johnson's determination paid off in a touchdown on this play. When seen from up top, we can see that A.J. ran right over Skip Thomas and Jack Tatum for the touchdown that put the Pats on top 7-0. For Ken Snake Stabler, the Oakland offense meant one thing: 6'4", 230-pound tight end Dave Casper, number 87. As good as Cunningham's half was, Casper's was at least its equal, as he caught 10, count 'em, 10 Stabler passes for 121 yards in the first half alone. On Oakland's 3rd possession of the game, Casper latched on to passes 3 and 4 and kept the drive alive when he recovered Davis' second fumble of the game on the New England 12. But 2 plays later, even Casper couldn't save the Raiders when Mark Van Egan fumbled and Steve Zabel recovered to keep Oakland off the board. The Raiders had lost a big scoring chance, but the Patriots were 92 yards away, not the best field position. Steve Grogan would quickly improve it. Watch number 73, John Hanna, on this play. It's the classic screen. Hanna makes an aggressive pass block on Monty Johnson, then heads to the right, arriving before the ball ever gets to Sam Cunningham to escort him on a 19-yard gain. On the 92-yard drive, Cunningham would account for 44 yards in running and receiving. But Grogan did not stay exclusively with him. He spread the wealth around using tight end Russ Francis, who many feel is the best tight end in the NFL, though just 4 games into his second season. This catch was good for only 1 yard, but Francis goes after everything all out. This desire and a repeat of the play that shows what a good effort it was are the reasons for his stature in pro football despite his tender years. .240-pound Francis and 225-pound Cunningham get it done with power, while for speed, Grogan turns to number 84, Darryl Stingley. Stingley's fumble could not be recovered by the Raiders before it rolled out of bounds, an unfortunate break for Oakland. For one play later, Grogan sent Stingley in motion left. Got about 20 minutes to wait for him to get into the end zone, then nailed him with a 21-yard strike. New England now led 14-0, and suddenly those wins over Miami and Pittsburgh weren't such upsets after all. But never count out the snake. Stabler can move a team downfield faster than any quarterback in the league, and on just 2 completions, he did just that. First teaming with none other than Dave Casper, who was wide open all day long. Then from the Patriot 15, Stabler did not go to Casper. He went instead to Fred Biletnikoff for the score. On a slow-motion end zone camera look at the same play, we can see that Stabler looked the Patriot defense off by looking left, no doubt at Casper, pumping once that way, then throwing right, finding Biletnikoff between 3 Patriot defenders. It hadn't taken long for Stabler to get Oakland back in the game, now trailing 14-7. When the Patriots took possession after the Raider touchdown, they tried very hard to give the ball right back. Johnson fumbled when hit by number 39, Willie Hall, who tracked the play from his right linebacker position and hooked the ball loose. Russ Francis saved the Patriots, but it only delayed the turnover. 3 plays later, Grogan was intercepted. If New England was to fold, now would be a real good opportunity. But from the Patriot 22, a Steve Zabel blitz forced Stabler to throw too soon and overthrow Cliff Branch in the end zone. And on 3rd and 10, nose tackle Ray Hamilton sacked the Snake for a 10-yard loss that put the Raiders out of field goal range. If you look to the left, you'll see a wide-open Dave Casper, but Stabler never got a chance to release the ball to him. The Patriots had survived another Oakland scoring scare and went back to work. Watch Raider defensive tackle Dave Rowe, number 74, as he follows a pulling guard inside, and Cunningham goes right through the area he left. Ted Hendricks, number 83, also overruns the play to the left, and Sam the Bam is off on an 18-yard run. Johnson then picked up 10 yards, Grogan 13. Cunningham 14 on a screen, and the Patriots were on the Raiders 16 with less than a minute left in the half. But the Patriots perhaps scored too soon. Grogan's pass to Marlon Briscoe gave the Patriots a 21-7 lead, but 40 seconds still remained, and 40 seconds is plenty of time for the Snake. In those 40 ticks, Stabler completed 3 passes, 2 to Dave Casper, naturally, to set up a 44-yard Fred Steinfort field goal and cut the Patriot lead to 21-10 at halftime. In the first half, a worried John Madden had seen his Oakland offense stymied on the ground by New England's 3-man line and had watched as Steve Grogan and Sam Cunningham literally tore apart the Raider defense. Unfortunately for the harried Madden, much more was to come as the second half began. The Grogan-Cunningham passing partnership teamed for 41 yards to the Raider 19. Then, despite exhortations from Madden, the sophomore quarterback from Kansas State threw to a wide-open Darryl Stingley for a touchdown. After the kick, New England had increased its lead to a hefty 28-10. It should be noted that Randy Vataha, number 18, has finally joined Stingley and Russ Francis in the lineup. The Rabbit, New England's chief deep threat and number 1 game breaker, has been out since preseason with a fractured cheekbone. And until today, strangely enough, he has been used only as the 5th man in Fairbanks' nickel defense. In their first series of the half, Oakland had a great chance when a pass interference call put them on the Patriots 6. But here a succession of penalties thwarted them. Dave Casper appeared to score, but Fred Biletnikoff was called for offensive pass interference, and the ball was brought back with an additional 10 yards tacked on. Now from the 16, Stabler, with hours of pocket time, hit Casper again for an apparent score. But again, a penalty was called, and the ball went further back to the 26. Now with a 3rd and goal from the 26, Oakland moved backwards even more. This time the reason was the Patriot defense, as number 78, Tony McGee, sacked Stabler for a 10-yard loss. Only Stabler's fumble, which was recovered by Sugar Bear Hamilton, saved the Snake from the ignominy of a 4th and 36 situation. On their first offensive play, New England exploited the right side of the Raiders' defense when Andy Johnson followed number 73, John Hanna, for 22 yards. With the pride and poise boys tottering, Chuck Fairbanks kept them further off balance with a second reverse of the game. In the first half, Darryl Stingley ran it for 21 yards. This time, he got 27. 3 plays later, Grogan finished it off by rolling right on the option and taking it in himself. New England had gone 64 yards on only 8 plays and now had taken a commanding lead, 35-10. The Raiders came roaring back. Dave Casper took Stabler's short pass, then was hit late by Steve Zabel and Steve King. The unnecessary roughness penalty made it a 22-yard gain. But now with Oakland threatening to score, the Patriot defense dug down deep. Stabler, throwing on every down now, never completed another pass as the red-shirted Patriot secondary clamped shut. The final indignity for Stabler occurred when Mike Ciani deflected a high pass to Prentice McRae, who took it a long way back. On a sensational return, the 3-year veteran from Arizona State had taken his interception 88 yards. However, clipping brought it back to the Patriot 38. But sensational Steve Grogan took over and challenged the Raider defense head-on. With a quarterback draw that had completely fooled the Raiders, Grogan had gone 30 yards and got an additional 15 tacked on when Jack Tatum was penalized for a late hit. This was to be a very familiar sight this sunny afternoon in Foxborough, Massachusetts. There's no doubt the Raiders play the game with relish, and with players like Neil Colsey, Willie Brown, George Atkinson, Jack Tatum, Skip Thomas, and Charlie Phillips in the defensive backfield, they have talent aplenty. But today the penalties were badly hurting them. 2 plays into the fourth quarter, Grogan again on the option, opted for his own number, and behind fine blocking, scored carrying the ball. New England 42, Oakland 10, and who would have believed it? Again, New England's stubborn defense stopped Oakland, and when the Patriots took over on offense, Grogan let a former Raider, Jess Phillips, have his moment of revenge. Phillips, number 35, took a screen for 18 yards, plus an added 30 yards because of unnecessary roughness on the part of the Raiders secondary. George Atkinson was the culprit this time, except that Atkinson outdid his teammates by being hit with 2 penalties on the same play. With the ball moved all the way to the 10, Phillips ended what he began. With his unique bucking Bronx style, Phillips tore through the right side, bounced off Jack Tatum, and went in standing up. Oh, to score against the team that let you go. Though the kick was blocked, New England's lead soared to a whopping 48-10. The Raiders, behind reserve quarterback Mike Ray, would score one more touchdown, but it meant little on a day that clearly befuddled everyone in the Silver and Black's tidy organization. For Oakland, it was the first loss of the season. The day was all New England's as they surprisingly, shockingly, and smashingly devastated one of the fine teams in the NFL. And after an opening day loss to Baltimore, who would have, could have guessed that New England would be 3-1 at this point in the season? For they have in 3 consecutive games upset the Miami Dolphins, Pittsburgh Steelers, and Oakland Raiders. And the way this fine young football team has looked, maybe, just maybe, those wins weren't upsets at all. The New England Patriots look like they're for real.